Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Alley Cat Creations. How are you? Please share and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And if you get anything from my work, a connect the dot, an epiphany, a mind explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore. Please consider supporting my work. All the links are at the bottom of the description of this video. Pyramids, well, different types of pyramids, hearts, artwork, hearts, pyramids, candles, and drawings, all that fun stuff. You could check out my portfolio at alleycatcreations211.com. There you can see my portfolio. If you like anything, please email me. Everything's done privately. Can't afford anything right now. Also, another way you can support me is becoming a channel member. Eventually, I get enough members. I'm going to grow the tiers. And with the membership, we're probably going to do monthly, starting next month, member-only events and possible giveaways. Just to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed and share. And those of you who are consistently on my channel, I know a lot of people cannot afford a membership, and that's okay. I'll have events, and some of you might get an invite. So look out for those if you're interested. All the information is on the YouTube channel. And I thank you all for your support and kindness. God's Book of Eskra, chapter. I don't remember if I said 14 to 15. No, I did to 14. I think I did. Um, huh. I'll do 15. It's a short one, but we'll move on. Just making sure before I go into it. Chapter 15, God, someone misspelled, provideth for the birth of Sakya. Piodvid. That's what it says. No, to provide. Again God called before his throne a million Lewis, and appointed Achisia chief over them, saying, Thou, O Achisia, shalt go down to the earth, to the land of Vinu, taking these hosts with thee, and thou shalt establish a heavenly place of worship, which shall be thy headquarters. Behold, I have given thee many generations in which to bring about the desired result. Survey thou, then, the generations of Faithus in that land, and take thy choice as to place and caste and family. He whom thou shalt bring forth for this purpose shall be of some royal family, a prince of high estate. I shall prove through him that love of righteousness and to serve Jehovah, he will forsake his kingdom and family and friends and all earthly things and desires, and make himself as a poor man, dwelling with the poor, laboring with them, teaching them, and instructing them. For because of the idolatries that will be amongst these people, they will be bound in caste, but he whom I will teach through shall prove unto the world that the service of Jehovah requireth all of all men, that Jehovah shall stand uppermost, even about kin and caste. In the example of which willing sacrifice man shall be taught that all the evils of the earth can be overcome. And thou shalt provide unto this man many disciples, and roadways for him to travel, and places to preach, and provide followers unto him, to go about with him. For without these, his preaching and practice would be of little avail. See to it then that there may be born in the world of a sufficient number to be disciples and followers of his doctrines. that he may be a power in the world for reestablishing the faithless in the Great Spirit. And thou shalt so provide these births, that they will be of the same period of time. What sayest thou, Echesia? Echesia said, in Jehovah's name, I am thy servant with rejoicing. And I answer thee also for these my hosts, that this is my joy unto them for Jehovah's glory. God said, to which end I crown thee chief of Lewis for the land of Venue. And God crowned Echesia, and he gave badges to the other Lewis. And thereafter Echesia and his hosts filed past the throne of God, duly saluting, and they also departed, going to the earth, to the land of Venue. Thus were Lewis empowered of God to bring into the world the heirs of Zechariah. More of him anon. Chapter 16. Moses in heaven payeth the judgment of Jehovah. Haman Astas, one of the chief marshals of God, and for the heavenly city of paradise, came before the throne, duly saluting and saying, O God, Son of Jehovah, I would speak before thee. God said, Speak thou, my son. Haman Astas said, There standeth without the city of paradise, beyond the pillars of fire, and in company with the high-rise captains, one new gang, delivered from the high-rise captains, I think I read that already, delivered from one of the hells of Hassa, over Egypt, and he crieth out continually, O God, Son of Jehovah, deliver thou me. Oh, Moses, Moses, Moses. I'm going to pause here because I have to clear my throat. He is distracted, continually using the same words over and over without ceasing. Now, behold, the nurses and physicians have tried all remedies they can invent, but failed utterly to break the spell upon him. For 70 days have they labored, and as a resort, they have brought him hither, that they might learn from thee. God said, New gain. Is this not one of the pharaohs who took up arms against the faithless of Egypt? Return now, Haman Astas, to the keepers of this man, and cause him to be blindfolded, that he may endure the light of the throne, after which thou and his keepers shall bring him before me. Haman Astas saluted and departed, and after a certain time returned with the keepers and with new gain, who was crying out unceasingly, even as had been said. And now, when he was quiet before the throne of God, God said to him, Behold me, I am God, Son of Jehovah. What wouldest thou? But the man heard not what God said, but kept crying out as before. Whereupon God said unto the keepers, Remove ye the blinds a little, that the light may come upon him. And they removed the blinds a little. But lo, and behold, the light made him more distracted than before. And when God saw his deplorable suffering, he inquired of his keepers how long the man had been in hell. And they said 76 years, and not 3 years. God said, I know that this is Pharaoh, who persecuted the Jews. Take him again without the walls, and there retain him. I will send one of my swift messengers to Lyca in Etheria, who knoweth the abiding place of Moses. Perhaps Moses put a curse upon him. If so, only Moses can deliver him. And the keepers took the spirit new gang without the city, commanded by God. And God said, Periopontis, sister of Rabin, a swift messenger in an arrow ship of fire, to the Etherian worlds, to Gusa Wanchia, something like that, to Lyca's sojourning place at the time, commanding her to lay the matter before the Nirvanian chief, Lyca. Hereupon the report continueth in the words of Pontus, that is, I came before Jehovah's throne, whereon sat Leica, and I told him the story of New Gain. Whereupon Leica, son of Jehovah, said, let my reporters of destinations go find Moses. And if it be that Moses put a judgment on New Gain, then must Moses return to the lower heavens and deliver him. The justice of Jehovah reacheth to all time and place. Pontus continued, whereupon I salute before the throne of Jehovah, and in company with the reporters of destinations, started forth again in the Etherian realms, and after passing through 7 worlds and upward of 300 Navanian kingdoms, we entered the plains of Sapius, where all situated the colleges and schools of embassies belonging to the Gitrasek, don't know how to say that word, board of another word I'm not saying. And here we found Moses. There's a lot of things I can't pronounce, and I am not going to try. Not trying to disrespect. Who no sooner looked upon us, having been told that he was inquired after, than he prophesied the cause. Moses said, alas me, because thou hast come from me, thou hast awakened in me that which slept all these hundreds of years. Yeah, it is true, I put a curse upon Pharaoh, for I said unto him, thou shalt yet call upon me to deliver thee out of torments. And I added here too, afterward, saying, of the blood of the sacrifice of lamb. This shall be the testimony of innocent blood against thyself and thy people for what the Hebrews have suffered. Instead of this, I should have forgiven him. O Jehovah, I have sinned before thee, and thou hast searched me out after all these years and brought the matter home to me. Thou art just, O thou Almighty. In thy name and by thy wisdom and power will I return to the lower heavens and take in charge the man and people I had judged. And Moses wept, and he gave command to the builders to provide him at once with a suitable boat of great fleetness. And then Moses procured 30,000 volunteers to go with him. And when all things were in readiness, Moses took leave of his companions, and he and his hosts entered his fire boat. And presently our 2 vessels runned away as if in a race, for the red starred the earth. And after some days we arrived in the heavens of the earth, even at the city of paradise, the abiding place of God. Interesting. Such is a brief of the heavenly report of Pontus, for on her arrival in paradise, her mission was completed for the present. When it was known in paradise that Moses was coming, great joy was manifested, for God and the Holy 11 and the Holy Council all desired to see Moses. And God commanded the full board of marshals and also musicians to go without the capital and meet Moses and escort him before the throne. And they accomplished these things, and Moses came before the throne of God, saluting in the sign, judgment of time. And God answered him under the sign, thy labor is our joy and glory. And God said in Jehovah's name, O Moses, come thou and honor my throne. And Moses went up and sat on the throne on the right hand of God. And Moses said unto the Holy Council and to the Holy 11, your God shall be my God, in his love and dominion am I cast by Jehovah's will to deliver those that have suffered from me and my words. God said, shall we not have a day of recreation first? Moses said, nay, till I have delivered New Gain, that was Pharaoh, there can be no peace. Suffer therefore thy marshals to go to the keepers of this man and bring him before this throne. And now again, after a while, New Gain was brought in all muffled up to keep the light from hurting him, and he was still crying out, O God, son of Jehovah, O Moses, Moses, Moses. And when Moses beheld this, he was nigh overcome by the pitfall scene. And Moses brushed away his tears and rose up, raising his hands to Jehovah, saying, light of thy light, O Jehovah, power of thy power, O Jehovah, deliver thou him whom I accursed, but his griefs and sorrows upon me that hath sinned against him. A mantle of yellow light, cloud-like, descended upon Moses as he stood transfixed before Jehovah. all the place was still as death. The blinds and muffles on Nugan fell off, and he stood silent and motionless, gazing with the fixed awe upon the holy scene, and upon Moses on the throne of God. And the Spirit of Jehovah moved upon the holy place, and the musicians felt the power. It was the light of one who was mighty from the ethereal worlds. Gently then the music of 10,000 voices fell upon the holy audience, first mild as if far off, then louder and louder as if coming near, till soon the words of the anthem proclaimed Jehovah's praise. Nugain turned not his eyes from the glory of Moses and ethereal mantle, for he knew Moses even as it were but yesterday. They parted in Egypt on the earth. Slowly now Moses lowered his outstretched arms, and his hands were brilliant like yellow fire. And Moses said solemnly, all praise to thee, Jehovah Elohai. Thou art just, thou almighty creator. Nugan added, for through him is all deliverance, worlds without end. In thy praise will I sing forever, O Jehovah, thou most high God of Moses, my deliverer. Make me strong, O Jehovah, that I can look upon him whom I persecuted and abused. Then Moses looked upon Pharaoh Nugan and said, these things had to be. Thou wert the last of the pyramidal age of man, and I the first founder of the migration of the righteous. All things are done by Jehovah in his own way and time. As by my curse upon thee and thy people have I been bound to come back to deliver thee and them, so by thy curse against Israel shalt thou now return down to the earth and labor to lift up Israel. For Israel hath fallen from communities and hath taken to kings after the manner of the heathen and the idolater. Her people are divided and broken up, and many of them have become worshippers of the false gods Baal and Azeroth. Yea, they are forgetful of my commandment of peace and love, and have taken to war and earthly aggrandizement. And thou shalt take with thee 10,000 angels and exalted grades, and go down to the earth, to the habitations of the Israelites, and by inspiration thou thy hosts shall select and inspire such of the Israelites as are within each of inspiration, and shalt take them away from all other of their people, and from the heathen and idolatrous tribes they are round about them. And thou and thy hosts shall abide with these mortals hundreds of years, reestablishing them in peace and non-resistance, after the manner of the doctrines in the Essene worlds. And thou shalt call them Essenes, that they may be distinguished from other peoples. Nugan said, thy decree is most just, O Moses, and I know of the truth thy words are Jehovah's. I pray thee, how long shall this labor be for me and my host? Moses said, some hundreds of years, until thou hast raised a light sufficient unto Jehovah, that peace and love and the doctrine of good for evil be again reestablished from the blood of the Israelites, even as by the blood of the Lamb I delivered Jehovah's people out of Egypt. And when thou hast perfected the generations of the Essenes, thou shalt have sent to thee from the throne of God certain Lewis, and they will labor with thee until an Israelite is born into the mortal world capable of the Father's voice. Nugan said, hear me now in my plea, O Moses, thou son of the Most High. When I died as to the earth and entered heaven as to these worlds, I found my kingdom as to what was before me in heaven waiting for me. And they were miserable, being beggars and slaves and idiots, because of the slavery I had put upon them in the earth life, and I could not escape them or put them aside. If I went away objectively, then subjectively, I remembered them and was drawn back to them. Yeah, I was like a young colt then, first being haltered, pulleth away, but faileth, then pulleth again, and faileth, and so on, until he findeth he cannot escape, then tamely submitteth, Even so was I bound to my kingdom and obliged in the end to yield and become a slave unto them, to provide for them, for I had so despoiled them of their talents. They were as helpless as infants, and many of them wicked in the extreme. Nevertheless, I accepted that which I could not escape. I toiled with them hundreds of years, restoring them as well as I could. And in time, an array of happiness came to me in the hope that in hundreds of years to come should I find my way out. But alas me, darkness, Ajay, came upon already darker heaven. My evil ones, such as I had slaughtered on earth, came upon me for vengeance sake. Anarchy overflooded me and my people. They became very demons of madness, and they seized me and bound me and bruised me and suffocated me with horrid smells, millions of them. And their curses pierced me like poison arrows. Long I fought them, and I cried out unto thee and to Jehovah. But alas, I was in hell. None could hear my prayers. For days and months and years I held out, but only to experience new and more terrible horrors. How long this woe was upon me, I know not. I only remember that my soul sickened within me, and I felt a sinking and fainting like an endless death that could not extinguish me. To me, it seemed 10,000 ages. Suddenly, I find myself here, distracted before thee, thou holy Son of the Great Spirit. Whence came I? What hath occurred? Or is this but a spell of delirious dream? And will I relapse again into yonder terrible nightmare of horrors? How can I go hence, that my old kingdom come not upon me? Do they not wait hereabout somewhere to seize me again for renewed torments? O teach me, thou Moses, how can I fulfill my righteous judgment and not be entrapped again, and perhaps forever? Moses said, I will give thee a new name, and I will clothe thee in garments of my own making, so they will rather flee from thee than come to thee. And Moses gathered up of the yellow cloud-like mantle and made a mantle and clothed Nugan, and his name him Elias, signifying servant of light. And after that, he was provided with 10,000 co-laborers, assisted by Gaphania, and sent back to the earth on a mission. And God appointed 100 messengers unto Pharaoh, that word might be transmitted every month to paradise. God proclaimed a day of recreation in paradise, that the inhabitants meet Moses and his hosts and rejoice therewith. And great was the day in paradise. On the following day, Moses departed for Egyptian people that he had been in hell with Nugan, going to the place of deliverance. And there were of these spirits 11,400,000. Moses conferred with the inspectors as to places, and having decided on convenient region, Elaban, he ordered their removal thither. And Moses went with them to Elaban, an isolated region on Aratasian Plateau, and remained with them 112 days, establishing with nurseries, hospitals, and factories. And he appointed officers for them, to every group and series, going amongst them in person and ministering to tens of thousands of them, and providing them places of worship. After that, Moses appointed Salmon as captain over them. Thereafter, Moses departed and returned to paradise, where he remained 2 days more, and then took leave and departed for his own heavenly place in Nirvana. But ere he departed, he said, when the Aegean forest is past and gone, and it be Jehovah's will, I shall return again to look after my hosts. And now was God's attention directed to the Hebrews, the faithless of Western Arabia, where the god Baal had gained access and power, having affiliated with one Dagon, a false god, located in those regions, who maintained 6 earthly oracle houses and a small heavenly kingdom of his own. And it came to pass that the Hebrews were a divided people. A small minority of them still worship Jehovah, having colleges of prophecy and places of learning. But the great majority of them were worshippers of the Lord and God, believing the Great Spirit was only a large man in heaven after the manner of Baal or Dagon or Azeroth or any other god. God said to them, thou through they pretend to be of many kinds. I see but two, those who worship the ever-present Jehovah and those who are drifting into heathenism. My eyes behold the true faithists with colleges and with books of learning. But as for the others, they are becoming consulters of the oracle spirits, the same as the heathens. How can they remain a united people? The gods of one city and temple each teach one doctrine, and the gods of another place teach another doctrine. God had previously sent to Ebenezer one Jerub with 10,000 assistant angel strategists to be with the king of the faithists. Jerub now asked to the other 10,000, and God sent them to him. And God said unto Jerub, a war will presently result between Baal and Azeroth and Dagon and Hogak. And these gods will not only war in heaven, but they will carry their battles down to the mortals. And the Israelites will not only forsake their ancient doctrine of peace, but will become great warriors, both against other nations and peoples and against one another. Take thou heed, O Jerub, of the words of thy God, and whilst Baal and Azeroth are in conflict, and neglectful of the temples and oracles, possess thou them. Better is it that these false gods win unto themselves, as dutiful subjects, 5 angels, than one mortal. Guard thou well all the colleges of prophecy against the emissaries of these false gods, and see to it that the worshippers of Jehovah have borne unto themselves a goodly number of prophets. The meaning and origin of the term Holy Ghost. There came to paradise God's heavenly place, one Tanis, totally butchering that, a messenger for the chiefs of the so-called Holy Confederacy. God's chief marshal conducted him before God, and being commanded to speak, he said, greeting to thee, O God, in behalf of the 3 sons of the Holy Ghost, I come before thee to proclaim their words. I have been instructed by them what to say, and I have declared unto thee, O God, my words are their words. First, that thou mayest hear us before we are adjudged. Second, as thou claimest liberty to think and to speak for thyself, so do we all. And wherein error cometh of our proceedings, it is our own matter, and not thine. As thou sayest, behold the all person, so do not we say, but we say, behold the all expanse. It is but a shadow of a ghost, and for convenience sake we name it Holy Ghost. It is not this our privilege. Who can deny us? Hath one man rightful dominion over another, or one captain, or one God? God said, proceed. Tanis said, and we be right, then shall we of our own selves judge what we will do. But if thou be right, and sorry guys, this language is killing me in my brain. And this thing be all person, thou art then his servant to do his will. Are these points true? God said, it seemeth so. Tanis said, and liberty to both sides. God said, yeah. Tanis said, when I was a child, I was held to walk, but now I am strong, I walk alone. Wherein then shall my judgment also walk alone? God said, proceed thou, and I will speak afterward. Tanis said, we have seen in ages past that peace hath been forever proclaimed by the followers of Jehovah, and that both on earth and in heaven such peoples became the sufferers of the victims of tyrants of earth and of false gods in heaven. Propose war in the name of the Holy Ghost, both on earth and in heaven. We can have no war with thee or thy people on earth. or in heaven, for thou and thy people, angels and mortals, are all peace, warring not. Our wars can be only with warriors. I put the master thus: thou hast a virgin daughter, and a villain assail her. Thy doctrine is to rush in and take the daughter away from him. Our doctrine is to beat him away from her. We behold evil gods and evil spirits assailing virtuous people on earth and in heaven. We propose to war them to destruction for righteousness' sake, more than we are to thy favor, O God, than against thee. We dip our hands in blood for sake of peace and virtue, for sake of liberty and knowledge. We shall say to the man of earth, thou shalt become learned. To the Essene in heaven, thou shalt not return to mortals, but remain in thy place and become learned and virtuous. For which reason we come to thee, O God, that thou mayest know our foundation. God said, who then sayest thou, men and angels shall worship? Tina said, in this we command them not, but we give them liberty to worship whomso they will. God said, thou hast said, our doctrine is to beat the villain away from the virgin, but what will thou or the example teach? Tianus answered, that an assailant deserveth punishment. God said, and wilt thou say to the peaceful and virtuous, take up arms, give your enemies torments? Tianus answered, yea, verily. And God said, and by what authority, if they require of thee? Tianus said, by authority of the Holy Ghost and the Father, the Confederacy, and by the Son, that is each and every Lord of the Confederacy. For we shall teach mortals and angels that all things are by law, and the word law shall take the place of the term Great Spirit or Jehovah. God said, hear me then, O Tianus, and in love bear my words to thy so-called triune confederacy, and to the high leader, saying to them, thus saith God of paradise, Son of Jehovah, according to the light of this throne, ye shall triumph for a long season on earth and in heaven, but not in the very way ye suppose. For ye will be forced to provide a worshipful head for mortals and angels, and it will come to pass your three heavenly places will become known on earth and in heaven as the triune gods or Trinity. And the people will worship an imaginary figure of three parts, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. And this will become their idol, and he will be accredited with love, anger, jealousy, and favoritism, war and destruction. Because ye say, give punishment to the wicked, and ye open the door of all evil. For he who hath a quarrel with his neighbor will accuse him as deserving punishment. They that are in darkness, being mighty, will fall upon the weak and slay them. A quarrel will ensue in your three heavenly kingdoms, and ye will become as three false gods. And since ye profess not the all person, each of ye three gods will be forced to announce himself as such. For the rule applieth to all men and to all angels, that they who deny an all highest person in the Creator become establishers of idolatry unto themselves. Thou hast said, we shall leave mortals and angels to worship whom they will. Why then is it not well to worship Baal and Dagon and Azaroth? And yet these gods make slaves of their subjects that worship them. Tina said, nay, they are evil gods. We will deliver their slaves into freedom. God said, who is master and who is the slave, either on earth or in heaven? Why not abolish your triune confederacy, lest ye rule over others? And you profess liberty, why not practice it? Because ye practice liberty as your chief object, ye will entice the unlearned and the idle of the lazy, for all these claim their weaknesses as the boon of liberty. It shall come to pass in the far distant future, your kingdoms will be made up of the lowest grades, and they will pull you all down from your present high resolves, and ye will become tyrants and evil gods yourselves, and meet the fate of your predecessors. The earth and the heavens thereof were given into my keeping for the resurrection of all the inhabitants, but I neither commission nor desire to accomplish dominion by violence. As ye have withdrawn from my kingdoms, it is an act of your own. Even my own grief at your secession showeth me how short I am in comprehending Jehovah's way. For I declare unto thee, O Tianus, that through thee to thy chiefs, that through your course seemeth evil in my sight, yet will it be proven in the distant future that Jehovah will appropriate your labors to an ultimate good. Thus said the God of heaven and earth, Go thou therefore with my words to the chiefs of the triunes. I part with you all as a father parteth with the son that goeth into a consuming fire. Tiana said, In reverence to thee, O God, I go to them that pity thee for thy too peaceful ways. Thereupon Tiana saluted in reverence and departed, going his way. God called up Erates, prince of messengers, and he said unto him, Thou hast heard the words of thy God Antinous. Take therefore 30,400 messengers, that is, one for each in all of my remaining kingdoms, and go and proclaim the same unto them, that they, having due notice, may manage their affairs with wisdom and foresight. Erates said, Jehovah's will and thine be done. And he saluted and withdrew, going to the place of the messengers and choosing his host, whom he instructed in regard to the message. And he gave to each of them power to choose their own officers and to provide their own vessels of travel. And in not many days thereafter they all departed. Now it came to pass that the following kingdoms soon fell to pieces and drifted into the Triune Confederacy, namely Shogan and her 28 sub-kingdoms, all in the Hadan regions, Gai Iwan and her 44 heavenly Hadan kingdoms, Hattus with 7 heavenly Hadan kingdoms and 5 sub-kingdoms, 2 Walatal, and 30 kingdoms in the first resurrection in the plateau of that very long team name, Livraga, and 71 heavenly sub-kingdoms, and of which 38 were ready to enter the second resurrection, Jachin and Moru, with 97 heavenly Hadan kingdoms, of which 87 were promoted to the second resurrection, Gangzhou, with 400 Hadan kingdoms, of which many were below the first resurrection, Hapsu, with 4 heavenly kingdoms and 70 million angels in the second resurrection, Iterba, with 12 heavenly kingdoms of 104 million angels in the second resurrection, half of whom were as high as 50 in the grades, Wanta Wacha, with 30 heavenly kingdoms, with 300 million angels in the second resurrection, 3/4 of whom were upward of grade 50. Of the 7 lower kingdoms of the second sphere, there were 800 million angels of the first resurrection who migrated from their provinces to the triune regions, Amesha, and they destroyed the road behind them. Now when God saw the great succession of his heavenly kingdoms and their allegiance to the triunes, his soul was filled with sorrow, and the voice of Jehovah came to him, saying, Why takest thou sorrow to thy soul for these things? Shall a God grieve because his burden is made lighter? Behold, in this day and honor, the gods and lords of the triune are rejoicing with great joy because of their ascensions. Yea, they perceive not what a load they are taking on their own shoulders. But thou shalt send agents among the triunes, especially into their capitals and their chief kingdoms. So God appointed many agents, different from messengers, for they were to be under the command of none but God. God said unto them, Ye shall go to the places I appoint unto each one of you, as travelers and sojourners in your own way, and observe the doings of the triunes, especially the chiefs and leaders, lords and gods, and their teaching and government, and in your own good time depart out of the place and return hither and inform my holy council and my holy 11. And the agents went forth as commanded. I'm going to leave this here. Next time, we're going to read chapter 20 of the Confederacy of the Holy Ghost called the Trinity. Dum, dum, dum. So, guys, I hope you got something out of that. Sorry for the misspeakings. My brain is not 100% functioning today, as that book is always hard for me to read. Anywho, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope all of you have a blessed and beautiful day. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within. Be the shoulder, be the lighthouse, seed your truths, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching, supporting my channel, and have a blessed and beautiful day. Bye for now.